Hey everybody, and welcome to Dpad Experience presents Marvel Champions. Dpad Experience is a weekly video game podcast published on all podcast platforms. Today we're doing a quick 5-minute review of Nebula. If you haven't watched my playthrough of Nebula deck testing, I truly recommend it because I was so sick I was delirious. I barely remember making that video. This is the day after, so I just made a video for Captain Marvel. When I was deconstructing the decks, I realized I played a 37-hand deck with Nebula because I forgot to add the strength and those 3 resource generator cards. That's how tired I was. That's how sick I was. Anywho, you're not here for that. So I got 5 minutes. I'm going to talk about Nebula. I'm just going to talk about the cards that she comes with in particular, and then you can make your decision if you want to pick her up or not, based on what you see. All right, here we go. So Nebula, she has 3 recovery. She starts with a 6 hand size, 9 hit points. If you play a technique upgrade, you draw 2 cards. So if you play on this side, her alter ego, and you play a technique, you can draw 2 cards, which is really strong. However, that 9 hit points is very weak, and I don't like it. So she has 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense, very decent line, very, very good. So after your turn begins, you resolve the special ability on each technique upgrade you control, then discard each technique. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So she has 2 copies of Combat Ready. You can either shuffle 2 technique upgrades from your discard pile into your deck. So you're seeing where this is going. She has special technique cards for her. If you have them in your discard pile, you can bring them back into your deck. Or you can discard cards in the top of your deck until you discard technique upgrade and then resolve its special ability. So basically you discard cards, grab a technique, and you can play its special ability off the bat. We have Nebula's Ship, which is a 2-cost upgrade. Exhaust it, generate a wild resource. I love these cards. This is a really cheap one too, so that's always good to have. You have Gamora, of course, 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. After you play her, you can choose any technique you want and resolve its special ability. So we'll take a look at those in a minute, but this is a very strong card if you have techniques out. If. So again, then we have another card that helps our techniques, Lethal Intent. It costs X amount, right? And let's see what that looks like. So you can choose X technique upgrades you control. So basically, however many cards you use to pay for this, that's how many technique upgrades you can choose. And you resolve the special abilities on each of them in the order of your choice. So again, great card if you have those techniques out. So let's take a look at those techniques finally. We got all of these. All right, so there's 8 techniques. This one, they're all 1 cost before I even start. So they're all upgrades. While you're in hero form, so as soon as you put this out, she ignores the guard keyword and patrol keyword and crisis icon. So she can just keep going, right? And now her special ability, once your turn starts, right, you can stun or confuse an enemy. Stun or confuse an enemy. So there you go. That's really, really good. Then you have, as soon as this gets played, she gets 1 thwart, 1 attack, and stalwart for the round, right? And she gains a tough status card. So love that. Now, she has 2 copies of Wide Stance. This last one was Unyielding Persistence. She has 2 copies of Wide Stance. When she's in hero form, you can reduce the amount of damage she takes from each attack by 1. Her special, look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, discard 1, and put the others back in any order. So I love that because you have some control of the game. These are actually really, really good cards. Then you have 2 copies of Weapons Master. She gains Retaliate +1 while it's out, and then you can deal 4 damage to an enemy when it triggers. Last but not least, we have the threat version, right? When she's in hero form, her attacks gain piercing and overkill. And when it's her special is resolved, she can remove 3 threat from a scheme. So there she is. You can see that she is extremely technique dependent, right? She has cards that let her bring techniques back from the discard pile. She has cards, the same card would let her bring out a technique and resolve its special and still keep it in play, because don't forget that they only resolve at the beginning of her turn. So if it's in the middle of her turn, you can play cards. This will let you still resolve the special, and it will keep going for the second round, which is great, right? Nebula, again, bring her out. She'll resolve the technique in play. Lethal Intent will resolve X techniques in play based on how much you spend. So she's so technique focused. That being said, she's so technique focused. So if you don't have these out, she's useless. I personally don't like her weak hit points. She needs to be flipping a lot, right? You really want to be taking advantage of drawing 2 cards, right? So in my opinion, she works great in Justice. Confusing, flipping a lot. You know, the villain not attacking you so that you can keep that low hit points in check. I personally don't like her. I really don't like the Guardians set in general that much, save for Venom, but I really don't like her. She's very low tier in my opinion. She's so dependent on upgrades. What I appreciate is she plays just like her villain counterpart, but as a hero, I don't like her. If you like her, you know, I'm glad, but if you're a newcomer to the game, if you're looking to just buy a new character, I don't recommend her at all. I really only recommend her if you're looking for somebody new to play, if you just have to collect everything, if you're short on cash and you're very need to like pick and choose who you pick up. Don't get her. Sorry, don't get her.